Okay, this video is for new viewers. For old viewers, this video is a waste of your time. You've heard me say all this stuff before. But for new viewers, just to give you a sense of this channel, this is one of the best health and nutrition channels on the internet. I'm Pete Rogers. The goal of this channel is a couple things: to be the best nutrition and health channel on the internet. It already is. There's a couple other real good ones too, but this is probably the best one. My goal is to be the best doctor in the world, which is much easier than I thought it would be because most of the famous, really smart doctors have all sold out. There's some exceptions to that. One of the other goals of this is to save Western civilization and Christianity. Some people say, oh, keep it objective. We don't need religion into this. Well, they could all piss off because you need religion and you can't really have science. Science comes from the Catholic Church, okay? I realize the organized Catholic Church has now been infiltrated by, left-wing communists, homosexuals, pedophiles, and anti-family, anti-Christian, anti-Western. All this BS, they're trying to discredit the church and destroy it. I realize all that. That's all happening, okay? And they're working in partnership with the mainstream media to destroy the church, discredit it, humiliate the church, and make people turn away from it, okay? So in a sense, they're sort of like the underground Christians, Christianity is just a relationship with God. You say, I want to be a Christian. I accept Jesus Christ as my Savior. You're a Christian. You don't need to go to church, okay? And hopefully, even though I like Catholicism a lot better than Protestantism, hopefully Catholicism or Protestants, at least I got guys who can get married, will do something good. The cavemen made paintings, okay? Non-Christian cultures tend to be quite backward. They don't even make any art, and if you don't even make paintings, that's more backward than a caveman, okay? So you need Christian ethics because there's all this money to lie to the proles and sell out the proles. And so the only thing that could prevent you doing that is that you have Christian ethics and say, the individual is more important than the money. And there's a lot of money, $200,000 billing for an open heart surgery versus, $1,000 if you're lucky paid to teach them a low-fat vegan diet, which works a lot better than open heart surgery for coronary artery disease bypass. This site is a hobby. It's not a business. My channel's not monetized. I got no sponsors. I don't promote any products. It's sort of to be a lighthouse. I'm keeping the true legacy alive of the work done by Walter Kempner, Dennis Burkitt, Nathan Pritikin, Dr. John McDougall, other nutrition heroes like, Jeff Nelson that are trying to keep the truth alive, because the truth is a delicate thing. Unless you cherish it, love it, and teach it to others, it will disappear. Okay, if McDougall hadn't kept the legacy alive of Kempner, it would have disappeared, and Pritikin and Royce Swank. So I'm trying to keep it alive for those guys as well. Okay, it's much more fragile than you think. There are big money movements afoot to sell you, all this high-fat BS, moderate fat to high-fat veganism, which is kind of a big joke in my opinion. Okay, what else? So I do teach people, Christianity is way superior, dramatically superior to all the other cultures in terms of painting, sculpture, architecture, music, literature, movies, charities, the original universities. Once the universities go atheist, they go into the garbage can. They destroy everything. Atheistic Darwinism destroys everything. Okay, and it wants to destroy everything. Its goal is to destroy all of Western civilization and turn it into a big slave labor thing. This channel is really for sort of smart, motivated people who want to learn. So I make the lectures sort of at an IQ level about 120 to 140. If you want stupid lectures, you can go somewhere else. There's plenty of those available. I do have beginner lectures and some that are a little bit easier, and I have a lot of shorter ones that people can do. I've written tons of books, and my books tend to be a little easier, at least the beginning part and the end part. The middle part gets, into more complex stuff. The best value of anybody new to this channel is go to the playlist. There's playlists for all the common diseases. So you can look at a playlist of videos on diabetes, hypertension, obesity, coronary artery disease, nutritional biochemistry, nutritional toxicology, estrogenic issues, iron metabolism, all those things. One of the things I always love biochemistry, so I go into a lot of the biochemistry of disease and nutrition and toxicology. The diet that is the healthiest for humans to optimize health is low fat, low protein, low sodium, whole food only, single ingredient only, 100% vegan, 100% organic. Sometimes it's called the Spartan vegan diet or the medical monk diet. Those are some of my nicknames too. No meats, no sweets, no oils, no alcohol, no MSG, no MFG, no caffeine, no MJ, tobacco, artificial sweeteners, flax, soy, omega-3s, nuts or seeds, olive oils for chumps, it's BS. Okay, so anyway, some people say, well, why don't you talk to so-and-so or talk to somebody else? Number one, nobody else wants to talk to me. Number two, I'm kind of ostracized and banned from most of the nutritional community, conventional medical community. But, like I said, they don't want to talk to me, and I already think I'm right. I don't think there's any reason to debate, okay? The things I'm not sure on, I'll tell you, but most of the things I tell you that I'm sure on, I'll tell you if I'm sure about them. Okay, let's see. The problem with all this low-fat vegan diet is it's what makes people healthy. It's how, these earlier guys, Kempner and Pritikin and McDougall, etc., Esselstyn, cured all these people, but there's no money in it, so it's never going to get any corporate sponsorship publicity. I figured out tons of things about the brain, about the spine, about mitochondria and other things, and I emphasize the brain a lot more. Most of the nutrition experts on the internet, they sort of come from an internal medicine or family practice background. And so to them, sort of like the holy grail of health is to keep your coronary arteries clean. But I'm a little more demanding than that because I care mostly about the brain, and the brain's more fussy than the body. There's more things you need to do, especially in terms of avoiding toxins, excitotoxins, and all that kind of stuff. I have lists of stuff for people who want to get healthy. I just made a lecture recently on how to get healthy fast, where I go through what you can do to optimize your health. And the reason, I'll make a separate lecture about why you shouldn't be half-assed, but it's a bad idea to be half-assed. I also teach a lot about art and culture and literature, because I think it's important to get those things. Most people don't get that at their grade school, high school, or college level. So for the people who want to learn, I give it all here. You could get better liberal arts education than you could by going to college. I offer it all for free. In my playlist on music and art, I've got hundreds of lectures on art and music, okay? I think it's good to know all this stuff, because once you see all this stuff, you realize that the word civilization is almost synonymous with Western civilization. The non-Western civilizations in comparison are relatively primitive, and most of the things that they've copied it from Western civilization, okay? There's a few exceptions to that. Did the Japanese invent the CD player? They're, really good at making cars, okay? And there's a few other exceptions, but not that many. Okay, my father's from Ireland, so I do a lot of Irish stuff because Ireland's currently being it's being genocided, okay? And I, love the old place, and so I do what I can to teach people about it, but it's really bad. So is all of, Western Christendom, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, all these places. I do talk about religious stuff a little, as I said earlier. I know the shorts I post on this channel kind of stink a little bit. I don't even make them, but I post them because lots of people watch them. More people will watch some short. Some stupid short that sounds retarded, 1,000 people will watch that. Then I'll make the best video in the world about some medical science nutrition topic, and I'll get 200 views. So that's what I do. I'm always going to be shadow banned. I'm shadow banned on YouTube. I'm shadow banned on Amazon. That's the price you pay for telling the truth. But it's still worth it because I think we still communicate a lot of good information. A lot of people have told me they benefited from this channel. And like I said, if anybody says anything different on another channel that I said I'm sure about, then I disagree with them. I don't think it's open to debate. They're entitled to have their opinion, even if it's wrong. So anyways, I hope you find the channel helpful. Again, if you want to learn something, go to the playlist. What I do every day is I tend to release a couple of reruns in the morning just to entertain people. And then in the evening when I get home from work, I try to make a couple new original videos. On the weekend, I'll make something bigger, better. Like one of my long art videos that I really enjoy making is a more complex thing. That's about it. Hope you find it helpful.